From multiple locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Co-host, Ed Kaluka. Featuring dangerous Dan Margetta. And Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
And welcome to the program. Glad you could join us. Chase Elliott is the news this week. NASCAR's most popular driver is out indefinitely after suffering a broken leg in a snowboarding accident. Hello there, Todd Bailing in Phoenix, Arizona, joined by my three partners, beginning with Ed Kaluka of West Bend, Wisconsin. Morning, Eddie.
Morning, Todd. Yeah, it's always a good race when tire management's important.
And that's what we're looking at today at the Las Vegas. Oh, by the way, the last couple of years, I've been to Las Vegas for this race, and my next partner, Dan Margetta, and I elected not to go this year. I'm still trying to figure out why we didn't go, Dan.
I know. Every time you're sitting home when you should be there, you think, man, this is about the time we'd be doing this, wouldn't it? And but, yeah, well, I'll be out there in the fall. I'll go out there. I exchanged the spring race for the fall race this year, and I'll go out there in October for that one. But Vegas is probably everything got to get on a restart in these intermediate tracks. The way they got this whole thing figured out now over the last year, it's been pretty good races. And what you get on a restart is kind of determines how you're going to be throughout that run. So restarts are pretty unpredictable, which makes kind of the whole race unpredictable. I think there's more parity on an intermediate tracks now than there has been in a long time.
And the unpredictable Brian Schmidt of Utzberg, Wisconsin. Hi, Brian.
Morning. Yeah, I mean, the much maligned mile and a halfs after last year with this new car, the mile and a halfs, I think, put on the best racing with that new car. So I'm interested to see what the racing looks like today and if they're able to dice it up like they were last year with these particular cars. So it should be interesting.
And whatever kind of racing we have from Las Vegas will not include NASCAR's most popular driver. Man, oh man. This is, I believe, the reason that car owners didn't want their guys doing short track racing. Well, short track racing is suddenly safer than being a snowboarder in Colorado because Chase Elliott was 3 hours of surgery on Friday night with a broken left shin bone. That's what the tibia is, right, Dan?
Oh, yeah. And
you broke yours, didn't you?
I broke both. I broke the tibia and the fibula, and he must have only just broke one, but mine was a rod and screws, and I think Kyle Busch had a similar injury. Usually they put a plate or something in there, and it's a long recovery. It's probably like 6 to 8 weeks.
Now, those of you worried about our most popular driver making the playoffs, it shouldn't be a big deal. Brian, NASCAR's rules pretty much make it so that all you got to do is apply for a waiver.
Apply for the waiver, but then he has to win a race. So remember that. When he does get back, and I don't know when that's going to be. Fortunately, it's early enough in the season, but he'll have up until Daytona in the end of August. He's going to have to win a race. Otherwise, he won't be in the playoffs. And depending upon how the season goes, he might have to win more than one because remember last year we had more winners than we had positions available, and Kurt Busch's incident is what dismissed him from the playoffs and allowed the other victory guy to get in there. So it's not going to be easy. It's not just a locked-in deal like we thought it was going to be because Chase, he hasn't won a lot of races in the last year or so, if you think about it.
If you're like me, you would think, well, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, that shouldn't be difficult for him to win a race. Brian, the last time he won was what, last October?
Yeah, he won at Talladega, but he had a long drought from when he won at Road America the July 4th of 2021. He didn't win another race all the way until June of last year, almost a full year, just 11 months in between wins. So there's been droughts, and with the parity we have, it's hard to win races in this series. So, with coming back from an injury like that, you always say the road courses are his big thing, but, think about his recovery. Road courses are tougher with your pedaling and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know that that's going to be a lock for him either to win one of those when they come around.
Yeah, pretty amazing stuff. Now, when this happens and one of your stars goes down, the next logical question is, well, who's going to replace him? What a spectacular story. Josh Berry, who finds himself in driving in the Cup Series for Rick Hendrick, of all people. Imagine this guy was having a hard time finding any ride at all. He was a late model stock car star down in the Carolinas and was pretty much, can we use the word discovered? I'm not sure that's the right word, but was given a fantastic opportunity by Dale Earnhardt Jr. to drive for him, and has done a great job in driving there. And the next guy up, he's 30. I think he's about 32 years old, right about at the driver's prime. And here the guy is going to get into a car for an indefinite period of time. I mean, I feel pretty good for Josh Berry. The bad news is he has never driven one of these new cars. He has 2 previous starts. Did you guys say Spire Motorsports? That shouldn't even count as a start, should it?
Yeah, it was for Spire, but I guess we get to see Josh Berry is one of those guys that came up the old school way. You know, I mean, he's a racer. He went and did everything on the racetrack and didn't really bring a ton of money with him.
No.
I guess this is his opportunity to prove he belongs in the Cup Series. It kind of reminds me of when Matt Kenseth got in Bill Elliott's car at Dover years ago and went out and finished 6th with it and kind of showed the world that, hey, I belong here.
I belong here, right? This is going to be a very important stretch for Josh Berry's career. Somebody might, let's take a look. We still don't have a driver named to take over the 4 car next year. Apparently, we're fighting over the Budweiser money already. Wait for the body to get cold, will you? But, if Josh Berry comes in and looks really good, I am sure that Tony Stewart is going to take notice. Do you guys agree?
I would think so. I mean, let's see how this all works out because, Josh Berry right now, it sounds like because this happened and they were already out at Vegas, they put him in the car simply because his body size is the most similar to Chase's as far as getting the seat to fit and getting all that stuff to fit.
And availability.
Yeah, and they made it sound yesterday like, wow, we're just going to do it today, for this weekend, and we'll see what happens going forward. Now we'll see how his performance is today and, if it fits right and everything works out. But I don't know who else you would put in there other than Josh Berry right now. I mean, Jimmy Johnson's out there, but he owns another team now, so I don't think he would be in the mix for that. So it makes sense.
His name was thrown around.
Yeah, it makes sense that Josh would be the one to drive it going forward here. And yeah, if he's able to produce, it's kind of he's an experienced driver. He does really well at Vegas. He's got 2 wins there in the Xfinity Series. That's another reason why they put him in there. So if he does well enough today and doesn't have any issues and they decide to go with him next week at Phoenix and he's able to progress through the next, I would say it's going to be at least a month and a half, that would be awesome to see him get something out of this in the future.
Be respectable, show them you belong, and Josh Berry just might be around. The race will be televised today on Fox 6 in Milwaukee. The green flag, a little bit late because they're racing in West Coast time, 2:49 Central Time for the green flag today. The link to the coverage for the Big 920 right here will be on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and you'll be able to listen to the race that way. We encourage you to give us a call if you'd like to participate in the program. Doesn't matter what in the world of racing, you can talk to us at 414-421-7901. Talk to our elite that's a perfect word for it, isn't it? Our elite engineer, Matt Losey, will answer the phone and talk to him, and next thing you know, you'll be on the air with us.
Josh Berry's off to a poor start, qualified 32nd.
Yeah, it didn't go in practice was okay, and qualifying didn't go so well. But then you got to wonder how much of that is just going through the motions and trying to figure everything out and
being careful, right?
Comfortable, I mean, I think we'll see as the race progresses. How he'll do. I don't expect him to set the world on fire. I don't expect him to finish 6th like Kenseth did at Dover. But if he has a decent run and I'd say top 15, I think we're looking good.
Joey Logano, the Pennzoil Ford, and the Pennzoil 400 is on the pole at 186.053 today. Glad you're joining us this Sunday morning, and we'll be right back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines. Just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Buckle up, get ready, get set, and get your tickets now as the NASCAR Xfinity Series returns to Wisconsin's Road America in Elkhart Lake, July 27th through the 29th. The smell of fresh rubber and food will fill the air for this weekend, along with the Porsche Carrera Cup for even more racing fun. An amazing, affordable weekend of family fun with camping, food, and more. Kids 16 and under get in free with paid adult. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Your national park of speed.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Was it a good loss against Purdue?
And the Badgers lose another gut punch tonight.
The Badgers have one more chance to prove that they belong in the tournament.
Goes up and in and one.
Wisconsin travels to Minnesota this Sunday night. Matt LePay's pregame show at 5:30, tip at 6:30 on 97.3 The Game.
Commercial fitted.
Welcome back to the program. Getting ready to race in Las Vegas. Cool, very cool out there. It's been cool. It's been a cool winter.
Remember last year it was cold. It kind of snowed last year.
Yeah. Speaking of cool, when the hell does this global warming start? Any time now, I suppose. This is next week. We'll be coming out here to Phoenix, and NASCAR has adopted new downforce rules for short tracks, which Phoenix is considered a short track, a mile and under. Ed, how is it going to be much different than what we have right now?
About a 20% decrease in downforce to save the tires. I hated that Goodyear can't make a better tire. Saw some talk about running groove tires from Goodyear at a place like this. But, they're taking downforce all the way around the car, 20% off the rear splitter. Is down shorter. Kozlowski said, why don't we just take the splitter off? There was people were of that opinion that we could take the splitter off. So these cars could suck up to one another and do some passing. But the downforce should make for at least a better race.
Yeah, I was going to say that this came out of that test they had at Phoenix. Wasn't when the drivers all got together and they did it earlier before the season started. I thought one of the things they wanted was less downforce because the races at tracks like Phoenix last year weren't the greatest.
Denny Hamlin was on some sort of broadcast this week, and he lets it slip that NASCAR is looking into groove tires. Groove tires. The whole idea is to reduce the contact patch from the tire. Ed, that's taking us one step closer to pro late models.
Well, treaded tires, yeah. It's I don't know why they can't build a good tire. It just blows my mind. We need a different tire manufacturer.
Or at least competition, right?
Well, they never have that again. That was a mess when Hoosier came in.
It was.
Hoosier came in with a tire that was so far superior to Goodyear's. First thing they did with Hoosier, and I was in the room with Newton when they came in, and said, "You got to raise the prices of your tires." And he looked at him and said, "I'm making a good profit now." He said, "Well, you got to be on a par with Goodyear." So that increased his profit margin by about 60% by raising the prices of a Goodyear tire.
Short term.
But yeah, Hoosier. When Bob Newton was there, I would really look forward to Hoosier doing that. But now that he's gone, I don't think it would be any advantage to switch to another tire company out there. But it's just, maybe Firestone. That might be interesting.
The whole idea is to get put it more into the driver's hands. Wouldn't that just mean maybe a harder compound in?
Softer.
You want one that'll wear.
Go ahead, Dan.
You want one that'll wear. A softer tire will wear sooner and won't last as long. A hard tire, a rock hard tire, will last all day. You want them to wear and slide around a little bit and put it back in the driver's hands. That way, so you got to hustle these cars.
Interesting. It's with those groove tires that. I'm thinking of the ones that we race in Wisconsin. I mean, it's supposedly to save the drivers money, and they're a harder compound, and you shouldn't have to replace them as often, and they don't fall off that much, and blah 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 blah. But they do slide around, and isn't that what the whole point is?
Well, yes, and the tires you're running, groove tires on local trucks, are nothing like what they're doing with Busch Cup cars. It's it would make for better racing if they would just make a softer tire, like Dan says, so they get a hold of the racetrack and could do something with it. But when you got to slide around on the tire, and then you got a chassis that doesn't have the adjustments that the old car had to make the car run better.
Now let's see who's a driver.
Right, but they've come 1 year now with this new car, and I knew that would happen. I mean, the racing is so much better today than it was when the car first came out, because these engineers got smart as to what changes they need to make to get bite and to make the car, understeer and oversteer and control it by having better options or more options than a Panhard bar.
Are the fans going to be able to tell a difference at Phoenix in the rules, or exactly how hard do we have to look, and what are we going to be looking for?
I think you'll see it if guys can pass. I mean, what happened last year at Phoenix was whoever got out front stayed out front, and the car in second couldn't do anything with them. He got up to them and couldn't pass them, and that was it. And if you can see guys making passes back and forth, it seemed like in the back in the field it was okay, but the leader, nobody could catch the leader out front, and we kind of saw it in the championship race when Joey Logano got out front and nobody could touch him.
Which is next week. This week at Las Vegas, we have the same tires again, and apparently they're pretty happy with this tire setup, huh?
Well, it's the surface of the racetrack. Where we're at today is more abrasive than Phoenix, I think.
And the package on the mile and a half does seem to work with these cars. I mean, last year all the mile and a half races were pretty good because they're unpredictable and how to say it, but it's a lot that doesn't happen when somebody doesn't go out front and run away. I mean, it seemed like their cars they're closer. I mean, I don't know, they're packed together. I'm not sure exactly how I went into it, but just watching practice last year at tracks like this was more exciting than the past because they were mixing it up.
It seems
because these cars are built so identical that it's easier to run. They're running tighter together. I mean, you got cars that never run in the back are running mid race now. So yeah, it's a more competitive package than what we ever had.
I'm not well versed on asphalt compounds, and Brian, you might be able to answer this, and I probably should ask somebody like Conrad Morgan, who's been in the business his whole life. But is there a way of putting a more abrasive asphalt compound on a racetrack when you repave it to make it more abrasive in the first place and make tires wear faster?
No, I would think so.
We have to wait that long.
I would think so. I mean, it all has to do with the aggregate that you use. For us, when we pave regular roads, there's different size of stone you put on your top mat, and that size of that stone is what, the strength of it, the bigger the stone, the stronger it is, but also then the sooner it will wear off, So
it's all about the compound of the rubber.
Right. And I mean, I believe when they did Atlanta, they made Atlanta more porous because they wanted the water to run out of it, and that track actually is a more abrasive surface when they redid it. But now we're running a super speedway package on there, so you're not going to really see that because we're drafting, unfortunately. So, I mean, I think that would have been the idea of it. If that would have been a normal Atlanta track, you would have had that abrasive surface where tire wear would have been a big deal, and you would have had the comers and the goers. But because we're running super speedways, we're not going to see that.
I don't know.
But
they would try to do. I'm sorry, Ed, go ahead.
The other problem is the sidewall. It's an 18-inch wheel with 2 inches less sidewall, so you don't get the deflection in the sidewall where you get the bite of the flex of the sidewall to make the car handle better. With this stiff, short sidewall, it's even harder to come up with a tire that would grip because it doesn't have the deflection in the sidewall.
We're glad you made us part of your Sunday morning. We'll take a break and be right back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit BonafideSafe.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
The madness of March is here. The 2021 Big Ten Men's Basketball Tournament tips off Wednesday on Compass Media Networks, live from Indianapolis, Indiana. Be sure to join us for all the action from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis as one of the nation's top basketball conferences battles it out for a spot in the NCAA tournament. Who will come away with this year's tournament crown? If it's the Big Ten Tournament, it's right here.
Milwaukee's home for sports. 97.3 The Game.
Well, I don't know a whole lot about politics. I know that Chicago politics can be somewhat sketchy. Vote early, vote often. But everybody's favorite mayor, Lori Lightfoot, did not make it past the primary, which was held this week. And she
17% of the vote.
17, yeah, not a very popular mayor. Well, crime. And listen, crime in Chicago is terrible. I don't know if she's the cause of it or if she knows how to fix it or if anybody can.
Well, she sure didn't help.
No, amen. But it was under her watch that all the contracts got signed with NASCAR to do a street race in downtown Chicago, thereby taking away a race from a perfectly legitimate racetrack and the most popular, arguably the most popular race on the Cup Series at Road America. However, that's neither here nor there. Now she's not there anymore. And the question you might ask is, how will that affect the race coming up in July in Chicago? Now, a couple of weeks back, I was talking to an unnamed person from the NASCAR PR office and was told, don't worry about that sort of thing. Contracts are in place. Okay. Brian, what were you telling me about contracts? There is a way out for...
Well, I mean, so the new mayor wouldn't be inaugurated until May 15th, and the contract requires a 180-day termination notice. So, I don't know. I'm not good at math, but you'd have to back up from the 1st of July. Yeah, so we're already past that point.
Well, the aldermen in that area were ones that are really upset that they weren't even consulted when she did this.
Right. But there would be, if they were to terminate that contract within that 100, less than 180 days, there'd be a large legal battle. So right now, it doesn't sound like there's going to be a big impact. But as we said before, we still don't have sponsorship. You go to the Chicago Street Race page, there's no title sponsors for the event or anything yet. So for a race that's supposed to be such a big splash that's coming up, I mean, in less than, what are we down to now? 4 months from it? There's not a whole lot going on yet with this event. So I don't know really what to think.
It might be a one-off kind of a situation.
That's
after
what I'm
one
thinking.
race, if it doesn't work out well for everyone, and I mean everyone, other than the truck drivers, who the hauler drivers are going to have to, stay in the infield or until
they're not happy about any of it.
Yeah, I don't know how much they worry about what the truck drivers think. It's a shame because those are the real brains of NASCAR.
Well, it's not just the truck drivers, it's the entire crew, because as it stands right now, when the Xfinity race ends on Saturday, because their trucks are away from the location, they're not able to load their stuff up and get out of there until after the concerts, which are looking at midnight. So that creates a big conundrum for the teams, because now they all have to hang around from the end of that race until after the concerts. I mean, if you go to any normal NASCAR race, a lot of times those trucks are on the road before you're out of the grandstand, So it creates a lot of dilemmas as far as that's concerned, but I would assume that's all going to get ironed out before the race occurs.
More than ever before, it seems to me that this is going to be one of those events where we're going to see how it works, and if it doesn't work, we can pull the plug on it and go back to Road America. It's just me guessing and wondering. It's not anything.
And hoping.
And yeah, there's plenty of that in there. Hoping. Let's go to the phones at 414-421-7901. John calling from Sheboygan, right in your neighborhood there, Brian. Hi, John.
Good morning, guys. I was wondering, maybe somebody can explain this to me. During the truck race, there was a caution. Kyle Busch came in. There was a tow truck on the pit lane. He couldn't get in his box. I thought, was the pits open still with a tow truck on the pit lane, and didn't he park out of his box? Can somebody explain this to me?
Well, I was listening to him on the radio, and his crew chief was very adamant that they were going to open pit road, and he's telling the officials that they're parked in our pit stall, and they have told him, don't worry about being outside your box. Just go ahead and pit.
Oh, just to make up for their own mistake.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Okay, that's what they gave him special compensation to do that anyhow, even though he was illegal. Okay. There
right.
You go. If that would have been somebody else, maybe not so much.
Well,
I don't
NASCAR
think so.
makes a mistake. They pretty much don't want to hear all the screaming and bitching on social media, and will go out of their way to see if they can't fix it immediately.
Well, one of the newer things that there's a woman that is now the race director for those truck and Xfinity races, and she seems to be a lot more lenient on not throwing the yellow flag, and with situations like this, making the decision that it wouldn't be a penalty.
Interesting.
Okay,
John,
well, that answers my question. Thanks a lot, guys.
You bet.
Can't penalize him if there's a tow truck in his pit box. I mean, and especially when you open pit road. I mean, if they make the mistake, I don't care who it is, if they're coming into pits and you can't get in your box because the safety vehicle is sitting there.
You guys apparently were listening to NASCAR Control. Who is the race director, the female that's making these calls? Do we know her name?
Oh, I don't know.
No, I did not get her name.
Interesting. And she was in, you guys heard her in Daytona too, right?
Yeah, on that Friday night of the truck race when they're having all those issues with the mist and the precipitation, she was kind of monitoring that, and I thought she did a pretty decent job.
Interesting. We got to find out who it is. A female race director? That's a kind of a thing. That's the first time in NASCAR's history, 75 years.
It's called diversity.
Yeah. Well, and why not if she's good? But we got to figure out where she came from. She's Let's find out. If anybody knows, 414-421-7901, or you can check out our Facebook page where we are doing this program live at the same time. We are racing at Las Vegas today. The race starts at 2:49 Central Time. And we encourage you to link to our coverage on our Twitter and Facebook page here on the Big 920. We're going to take a break and be right back.
Buckle up, get ready, get set, and get your tickets now as the NASCAR Xfinity Series returns to Wisconsin's Road America in Elkhart Lake, July 27th through the 29th. The smell of fresh rubber and food will fill the air for this weekend, along with the Porsche Carrera Cup for even more racing fun. An amazing, affordable weekend of family fun with camping, food, and more. Kids 16 and under get in free with paid adult. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Your national park of speed.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
The Milwaukee Admirals begin a 5-game homestand with a contest against the Iowa Wild Tuesday night. To the left point, Willsby, a minute to play. Right circle, Stasny, a shot, scored! The Admirals score! Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30, face-off at 7 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
This is The Herd.
Attention listeners.
With Colin Cowherd.
The Justin Fields story. 3 days ago I brought this up, and I was considered ridiculous and ludicrous.
I feel like way slower in that cold weather.
It is an edge to play in Chicago. Field sees it as an issue. Hard, I feel slower. Great quarterbacks are not seeking comfort.
This is The Herd.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to LTN. Brian's been busy working, trying to find our female race director, and you found her.
Yep, Tiffany Myrick, her name is, or Myrick. She's been with the series since 2018. She was initially a technical inspector, and then last year she was elevated to the role as over the race event director. She made her debut during the ARCA race in May at Kansas and has worked her way up the ladder.
And works more than just ARCA.
Yeah, she did. I mean, at Daytona, I heard her for all three: the ARCA, the truck race, and the Xfinity race. And that's kind of, I think they must take turns, is what it appears here. They have different people that do it at different weeks.
The truck race was won by Kyle Busch. Now, he hasn't been, as you know, the Kyle Busch rule, as it seems like it's called, where cup drivers, at least front-running cup drivers, only can race 5 races a year. Jumped into a truck and won the thing on Friday night. Yesterday, the Xfinity Series, Kyle Busch was in that one, but hey, he didn't win. Austin Hill won, much to the surprise of, I think, everybody watching. Chandler Smith had that thing in the bag. What happened? Did he run out of tires?
Towards the end there, it was the car wasn't as fast because the tires wore out, and Austin Hill was catching him. But to me, it seemed like, man, that's your opportunity. You get all these chances to get to put in that spot where he was at. This is your chance for your first win. And to lose on the last lap like that's got to be heartbreaking. I mean, you got to close these deals. I realize it's a first shot, and you may have other ones after that. But it looked awfully easy for that 21 car to pass. I'm thinking I probably would have rolled off the throttle and kept it on the bottom, made him go around me on the outside, and maybe made it a little more difficult. But I guess good run. It's just that you never know when your next one's going to come, and you need to capitalize and you get that opportunity.
Austin Hill won the race. It was his second race already this year that he's won. Allgaier ended up passing Chandler Smith, too, for that one. Hey, in that truck race, I was unable to watch it. How's that? How did Ty do?
Really good. I thought they had a great truck. It's one of the better races I thought that team has run, even though they finished 5th, and that's the best they could get. But at the end of that race, they had the fastest truck on the track, and a late caution, I think, would have given an opportunity to win that. He had some issues, again, that happened during the race, but they overcame them and capitalized on it and turned an okay day into a pretty good day in 5th place. I thought overall, the way that race was called and the way that race was run, they did a really good job of keeping their head on straight and getting a decent finish out of that with a really good truck.
And TV didn't show it, which was unfortunate, but I was watching the pylon on the side there, and you could see him go from 8th he closed the gap. He went to 7th. He closed the gap. He went to 6th. He closed the gap. And I mean, he ran down. I think there was about a 2.5 second difference there from 6th to 5th that he got in the last 5-6 laps to work his way up to the 5th spot. So,
and he was a solid 2 to 3, 4 tenths faster than any truck on a track. And he even said afterwards, "This is the best truck he's ever had."
Ran out of laps, huh?
Well, yeah, he put himself in a position. I can't remember if it was speeding out pit road but he did get back from. He was running like before the pit stop. He was running like 9th, and he came back out almost last.
And does anybody know if they had issues with their pit crew? Because that was one of the stories going on in that race. Was
yes, they did.
You see pit crew members running with their gear because something about a plane that was laid. And I mean, I came into the race kind of mid-pack. Mid part of the race. I didn't see the very beginning of it, but there was an issue with a plane that was bringing a lot of the crew members there, and
two planes.
Yeah, they were late in Charlotte, late getting out of Charlotte, had a mechanical problem, had to get another plane in. Took them a long time to get another plane in because most of the fleet was already on its way to Vegas, taking everybody out there. So they landed, and then the flight they don't fly direct from Charlotte all the way to Vegas. They got to stop in Oklahoma for fuel. And they landed with about maybe a half hour to maybe 20 minutes to race time. They landed. They got an escort from their airport all the way to the track. They just pretty much dumped the cars in the infield and went running with their bags to go get changed. And a lot of teams in the first stop, I think, had to use other crews. I think Ty's backup was the 13 truck crew instead of their own guys. But that's calling it close, man.
That's awfully close. Logistics. Nobody talks about logistics. Last week at California, Kyle Busch wins. Was it my imagination, gentlemen, or was that like one of the most popular wins Kyle Busch ever had his first race with Childress?
That was crazy to hear the crowd when he got out of the car. I didn't hear any boos. It almost seemed like Kyle was a little bit disappointed. Like, well, what the heck? I thought all these people boo me, But no, that was kind of cool to see. I think it's just the whole story behind it. And Joe Gibbs with the Toyotas and all that stuff, since he got the Toyotas, people have always had a little bit of angst towards it, and Richard Childress, Dale Earnhardt, there's a lot of history there, so that was always a feel-good story. And to see him jump over there and be that good that quickly, I think was what made everybody so cool to see it. I was happy to see it.
Yeah,
I think it was more a dislike for his for the coach than it was for Kyle.
Yeah, that's funny. And that might just be part of it, Yeah, Gibbs, well, yeah, we really can't find a sponsor for him, so we'd like to keep him, but we have to let him go. And yet, Childress has not found any problems at all getting sponsorship for the 8 car. In the meantime, Kyle Busch wins, and Gibbs gets to watch him win. You got to love that.
Tell it like it is. It was to replace him with his grandson. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, well, and also it reminds us of the same thing that happened to Matt Kenseth. Well, we lost the Dollar General, and, we don't have the money to pay Matt anymore, so we're going to bring in Eric Jones, and that'll be the end of Matt. Thanks for everything you did for us, by the way, but there's the door.
Now, Denny Hamlin was on like a podcast. I think he has his own podcast after races called Actions Detrimental, and he said that Gibbs made Kyle Busch a very generous offer, and Kyle turned it down. And he said if Gibbs would have paid Kyle what he wanted, that Gibbs wouldn't be in business anymore. So now, take that as you can from Denny Hamlin. Did Childress dip in his own pocket to bring him over there?
How much is Childress paying for him?
Right, or did Kyle take a lesser deal just out of spite?
I think it's out of spite. I think he was going to go someplace else. They just weren't getting along.
No, they weren't.
Don't you think this is just a kick in the uts, Nate, to Toyota? Now Kyle Busch is winning with a Chevy truck, winning with a Chevy Cup car.
And he's so proud of Chevrolet. It's really awesome to watch.
I think it was cool to see Lucas Oil in Victory Lane in the Cup Series. Lucas Oil has been a long-time short track sponsor. They do a lot of stuff outside of there, and they never really were looking to get into the big league Cup Series stuff. And for them to win their first time out with Kyle Busch on the car, a beautiful-looking race car also, that was kind of neat to see.
And don't forget that was his 19th straight year with a win, which broke the record by Richard Petty.
Yeah, one more Petty record that bites the dust. It was Kyle's 223rd NASCAR victory.
And did you see that Kyle and Kurt Busch are now the winningest brothers in NASCAR history? And somebody put up there online, well, now they're only 106 behind Richard and Maurice Petty.
That's right.
Nobody knew about that until Kyle brought it up. He had that in his pocket and then was waiting for the time to come. And, oh, by the way, we are now the winningest brother team in NASCAR history. How about that? Pretty
I wonder what Tyler Reddick is thinking about all this. You know, he did that jump to the 2311 racing, and that A car has been good every week. It was good when he was in it every week. I wonder if there's any regret in his mind about pulling away from Childress and going to 2311 with the success that Childress looks like they're going to be having.
It's too early yet, I would think. I mean, we're still it's a big picture kind of a situation, I think. And besides, Tyler Reddick is probably getting paid more money than Childress was willing to pay him until all of a sudden, hey, we got a shot at Kyle Busch. Well, let me get off this big fat wallet and pay the guy. That might be where it is. We're glad you're listening. We're going to come back with some results from the world of dirt track racing and some more cool stuff right after these.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Buckle up, get ready, get set, and get your tickets now as the NASCAR Xfinity Series returns to Wisconsin's Road America in Elkhart Lake, July 27th through the 29th. The smell of fresh rubber and food will fill the air for this weekend, along with the Porsche Carrera Cup for even more racing fun. An amazing, affordable weekend of family fun with camping, food, and more. Kids 16 and under get in free with paid adult. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Your national park of speed.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit pmflandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
It's the Pennzoil 400.
Welcome back, race fans. It's great to see you on your feet here today in Las Vegas. Up on the top, and Joey Logano. They are still side by side by side.
They are 4 wide behind Logano as he tries to wrestle the lead away. Truex drops down to the bottom of the racetrack. Hamlin goes back up to the top side.
Here comes Keselowski. He's going to make it 3 wide. Brad goes to the bottom of the racetrack.
It's the Pennzoil 400.
Sunday at 1:30, you can get the link to the race from our Facebook and Twitter pages. Just look for the big 920.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Still pretty quiet on the dirt front. The World of Outlaw late models were supposed to get their season back underway, but they rained out their weekend in Tennessee. So we'll start Monday in Baker, Florida. The Northwest Florida Speedway was the inaugural Clash on the Coast for the IMCA Modifieds. Austin Becerra was your winner among the 58 cars. Lance Arneson from the Green Bay area made the tow down there, but he did not make the feature, unfortunately. Tuesday night, night number 2 at Northwest Florida Speedway, Joseph Joyner of the Hunt the Front fame was your winner. He picked up the win in the Modified, his first time ever in a Modified. Nothing happened the rest of the weekend until we get to Friday. They moved the Clash at the Coast to Milton, Florida at the Southern Raceway. Austin Becerra picked up his second feature win of the week to win night number 3. Also on Friday night, Swainsboro, Georgia, the Spring Nationals for the Super Dirt late models, $10,053 to win. Brandon Overton was your winner. Yesterday, Abbottstown, Pennsylvania at the Lincoln Speedway, the 410 Sprint Cars, Freddie Raymer made it 2 in a row, winning the second one of the year there. Milton, Florida, the Southern Raceway, the inaugural Clash on the Coast, night number 4. Austin Becerra made it 3 out of 4 in the IMCA Modifieds. Petty, Texas, the Rocket Raceway, the USMTS Modified Series 10,000 win season opener. Tom Berry Jr., he was an IMCA guy. He moved over to the Super Modifieds, you would call it, and picked up the $10,000 to win season opener. And in Sonoya, Georgia, $10,053 to win night number 2 for the Spring Nationals as they moved over to Bubba Pollard's track. Will Harrington picked up the win there. And that is all the racing we have this week. The World of Outlaw Sprint Cars get back in action tonight if you have Dirt Vision. They race tonight at Volusia. I believe it's 2 features, and then they race tomorrow as part of Bike Week down in Daytona.
Nothing major happening. Any major short track events are still to come. Matter of fact, Dan, did you say this coming Saturday there's a big one, isn't there?
Well, on the asphalt side, the Stars National Tour kicks off at Pensacola coming this Saturday.
This next weekend, yeah. Jim Trado's going to be down there for that. Dean Strom is going to be back in his chair back here at Phoenix next week. He'll be the PA announcer.
And then the next week is the Rattler, which is part of the SRL National Touring Series. They have them back-to-back, a couple big asphalt super late model shows. A lot of guys from up here are going. I know there's at least 6 going down to that one in Pennsylvania.
Well, there's nothing in the world of asphalt really to report on this week, except Luke Fenhouse found himself with a full-time ARCA East ride. It's a new team called Pinnacle Racing. He will be number 28. Brian, I have to say, the East, the West, the Sioux Showdown, all these different things in ARCA, does this just mean he's going to run the East schedule?
The East schedule is a much smaller schedule. Their schedule consists of Pensacola, Five Flags Speedway, that's March 25th. Dover on April 28th, that's part of the Cup weekend there. Nashville Fairgrounds, May 13th. Flat Rock on May 20th. They go to Iowa Speedway July 15th. IRP on the 11th. And then he'll be at the Milwaukee Mile August 27th, and they finish off at Bristol on September 14th. So I think I count, 8 races there. So it's a much smaller schedule than running the national tour, but it's a good way to get his feet wet, and you'll see how well he does. And the best part is we'll get to see him in Milwaukee in August.
And how many of those events you just named now are you going to be able to watch on the internet and or on television?
All of them. Every one of the ARCA East races is on Flow. So you'll be able to watch those all on Flow to see how well he does there.
Yeah, and they don't mess around on Flow and charge you extra for every event.
Right.
Yeah, that's a kind of a crappy way of doing things. Well, I shouldn't say that. They're trying to, make money. And that's what we got. That's how we have to deal with it. Kyle Larson, Dan, that's I didn't realize that we knew Kyle Larson was going to race at Indianapolis, but we find out now it's a 2-year deal. How about that?
Yeah, it's for 24 and 25. So it'll be 2 years he'll be running at Indy and trying to do the double. I thought it was just a one-off deal for next year, but it looks like it's a 2-year deal with a partnership with McLaren. Interesting how, what happened with Chase Elliott. There's been a lot of talk about people being able to do these extracurricular things. They say it's not going to change. I hope it doesn't. And these guys need a life and be able to do some other things besides just being tied down to this NASCAR deal. And I think it's good for the sport to have somebody try a double, especially somebody that's got a capability of maybe winning both of them. I think it'd be the coolest.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, Larson, great. Of all drivers, he's been the most versatile driver. He wins in every kind of car he gets in. And kind of neat that he would not just finally get a ride in an Indy car at Indy. It's pretty cool all the way around.
I don't know if you caught any of the press conference yesterday. Ross Chastain was in the media room. I happened to have it on for some reason, and they started asking him about Indy stuff because I guess he's been talking with, I think it's Connor Daly, that was in the same area as him and going back and forth about it, and a lot of people were pressing him about it, and Ross Chastain was like, absolutely, I'd be interested. If anybody wanted to give me an IndyCar ride, I would do it. He goes, is that something I'm pursuing outright? No. He said, but it was something I would definitely like to try at some point in the future. So now that that's out there, we'll see. Ross Chastain seems to be a guy who's talented also and can drive just about anything. So that could be really something to see in the future. Maybe he'd get his hands on an IndyCar.
Trust me on this one. If every single IndyCar owner didn't know who Ross Chastain was before last fall's Martinsville race, they all know who he is now. And
you can't do that mellow move.
No, you can't do that at Indianapolis.
No.
Well,
you'll be hurting.
Nobody ever tried it, really. We'll see how that works.
I've been very fortunate as a race fan to go through 3 careers of A.J. Foyt, Tony Stewart, and now Kyle Larson. They're the only three guys in all of auto racing that I'd put on that level.
Isn't that something? And it's true, isn't it? And that can win in any car at any track at any time. They have the pure talent to do it. Yeah, it's pretty neat. That's why I think it's kind of a shame Larson didn't end up driving for Tony Stewart, unfortunately, but that's neither here nor there. We're glad you're tuned in. LTN is going to take a break and be back. Hang in there with us.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Buckle up, get ready, get set, and get your tickets now as the NASCAR Xfinity Series returns to Wisconsin's Road America in Elkhart Lake, July 27th through the 29th. The smell of fresh rubber and food will fill the air for this weekend, along with the Porsche Carrera Cup for even more racing fun. An amazing, affordable weekend of family fun with camping, food, and more. Kids 16 and under get in free with paid adult. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Your national park of speed.
It's the Pennzoil 400.
Welcome back, race fans. It's great to see you on your feet here today in Las Vegas. Up on the top, and Joey Logano. They are still side by side by side.
They are 4 wide behind Logano as he tries to wrestle the lead away. Truex drops down to the bottom of the racetrack. Hamlin goes back up to the top side.
Here comes Keselowski. He's going to make it 3 wide. Brad goes to the bottom of the racetrack.
It's the Pennzoil 400.
Sunday at 1:30, you can get the link to the race from our Facebook and Twitter pages. Just look for the big 920.
Brian, it's the first ASA Stars point race coming up at Pensacola, correct?
Correct.
And what were you saying about how to watch it? How are they going to charge? Are they going to charge?
Yeah, so if you're a Racing America subscriber, you will get the race for $22.99. If you do not have a Racing America subscription, you got to pay $29.99. Then there's also links to the MidwestTour.tv if you're part of that, and then they're starting a new thing called TrackTV.com, but I believe the price is the same for all of those. So if you're a subscriber to any one of those, MidwestTour.tv, TrackTV, or Racing America, you get it for the $22.99 versus the $29.99. You can bundle it too. You can bundle the whole thing for $100 and get all of them for $100, which is about, whether it's 10 races, so that's $10 a race, which I guess isn't too terrible.
Because the race at North Wilkesboro will be on Flow, so you get 9 for that $100. It's
correct. Yeah. North Wilkesboro will be on Flow.
And with all the interest that's going to be generated from our neck of the woods, especially with 3 races out of the 10 in Wisconsin, it seems to me this would be something everybody would want to keep track of. So that 10 races for $100 sounds pretty good, actually. But well,
better yet, make sure you get to those 3 races in Wisconsin and buy a ticket and sit in the seat.
Yeah, and keep track of the other ones via.
Right.
What is it going to be on?
3 different things. MidwestTour.tv, which did all the ARCA Midwest Tour races last year, Racing America, or this new thing called TrackTV.com. So it's a 3-way streaming service type situation.
And if you pay the $100, you'll get it on all 3 of them, right?
I think, I'm not sure exactly how. You'd have to, I would imagine, I don't know. You'd have to go on there and figure it out. It just, the prices look the same no matter which service you use.
Yeah, you have to go to one of those 3. You can't get them all 3. You either go through Racing America, you go through Midwest Tour TV, or you go through.
There you go.
And
which one is the best, Dan?
They're all about this. It's the same broadcast, so it's not going to really matter. And if you want wait a week, you can wait a week and watch it on MAV TV delayed a week, but you won't see it live.
On MAV TV, which is available on DirecTV, and I don't know where else. Not all platforms have it, though, right? So that's something to keep in the back of your mind. Hey, the guy from Door Bumper Clear, that's a pretty popular podcast / television show these days. TJ Majors, he is the spotter for Brad Keselowski, is sick. And of all people, Brad's brother, Brian Keselowski, is going to be his spotter today. I don't know if he's ever spotted before. I am sure they've had a very nice brother-to-brother talk telling brother Brian exactly what he expects out of him to be his spotter. So we're going to find out just how that works today. Ed, are you going to be listening to that, or do you have that anymore?
Yes, I have it.
It's free. Everybody can have it on NASCAR.com. The scanner is free this year.
It's free?
Yes, I listened to
that change.
This year. They've offered it now. It's great. I listened to the truck race. I had Ty on all the whole time.
I'll be darned.
I don't think they've ever spotted. They may not have spotted together. I know they worked together because remember when Brad pushed the 500 in that piece of junk 92 car?
And here's the interesting tidbit of news that we're hearing this week. The Sports Business Journal. Now, they are pretty good. They're on top of things. They have their ear to the pavement and all this sort of thing. They reported that Chastain and his Trackhouse #1 team is the quote-unquote favorite for taking over the Budweiser sponsorship, taking it away from Tony Stewart's team next year when certain guys retiring and going to the booth. By the way, we got to see Harvick yesterday for the first time. He really is good in the booth, too, no doubt about it. But Chastain, interesting. Why would they tip their hand, or why would we know anything about that? It seems like they're putting pressure on Budweiser to name somebody soon.
Yeah, he probably talking to him. They're probably not the only people talking to him. I mean, maybe that's the only one that kind of got leaked out is still there. Kyle Busch put a tweet out there when that got announced, kind of raising his hand and saying, "Hey, I drive the 8 car, guys. It'd be a perfect."
We can put an 8 car with Budweiser on it. A red Budweiser number 8. Have we ever seen that before? That would stick right in all these Earnhardt fans' ears. Pretty crazy stuff. All right, we're racing at Las Vegas today. It's a 1.5 mile track. Stages are at lap 90, lap 165, and it will be a 267-lap race. The favorite all week has been Kyle Busch to go to his home track and repeat the luck and the talent he showed last week. Pre-qualifying, he was at plus 550, which is 5.5 to 1, basically. Logano was at 7.5 to 1. Chastain was at 8. Larson was at 8. Blaney at 8.5. And Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex were at 11. Now, that's pre-qualifying. I didn't get the numbers after qualifying. As far as changing, Logano was already at the top. He must be, between Busch and Logano, a coin flip. Don't you guys think?
Yeah, I'm going to take the 22.
All right. Well, I'm writing it down, Ed.
Yeah,
I'm going to stick with the same guy. I've been the point leader, by the way. Anybody know who the point leader is? That's right. The 1 car, Chastain. So I'll go with him. Dan, who are you looking at?
12, Ryan Blaney.
The overdue Ryan Blaney. All right. And Brian?
I'm going with William Byron. Hendrick is really good here. I can see them picking up the win today.
It has, I don't know. It has been a Ford track. Ed and Dan both picked Fords, and the other two took Chevrolets. Funny, nobody's taking Toyotas anymore. Ford Joe Gibbs.
Don't forget, Ty Gibbs is right there in 4th. Yeah, could this be the day?
Is this his breaking out party? I don't know. I got my fingers crossed for Josh Berry. Hey, here's something we want everybody to remember. Real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our engineer is the elite Matt Losey. How's that? Matt likes that I called him that. For all of us involved with the program, we appreciate you tuning in every Sunday morning. Let's have a nice, safe race. See you next week.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.